What is happening, troops? Welcome back to the World Cup Roundup, brought to you by Wireless, the best place. Keep up to date with everything related to the FIFA 22 World Cup. But before we get into all that, let me introduce a very, very special guest, Mr. Kenny McKay. How are we doing, Kenny?
I'm doing fantastic. Glad to be on.
Great
Thanks,
to get
guys.
you on. It's been a while in the works.
It has been. I've been hiding away. My mental health's not been that good, so I've not been coming at the house. So, no, it's nice to be here.
Nah, it's great to get you on, mate. It's
Good
great to get you on. Kenny is an ex-pro footballer who's got his own podcast called Flip the Mindset. If you haven't checked that out yet, guys, we'll leave a link to it down below. Make sure to check it out. But how are we doing before we get into the nitty gritty? How are you boys doing?
I am not bad. What about yourself, Ben boy?
Good, mate. I'm doing well, mate.
Aye.
Good to get Kenny finally on. So
That's it. How we enjoying it so far? The group stages, isn't it?
It's been alright, mate. I think every team sort of started at the beginning just trying not to give too much away, but it's starting to get into some good football now.
Right, I want to know what you think. How you've been enjoying it?
I think I second that. The stuttering is due to no one wanting to lose, and it is annoying and it's horrible to watch. So you're just basically, I always find the start of international tournaments really, really boring. Both teams are like, come at me, and it's like a fight, not a fight, like an argument with a bird. Like, come at me, or you come at me, I'll come at you. And then what happens is the last 20 minutes of the game, you're well, the last 20 minutes the game opens up and both teams just go for it. Do you know what I mean?
you hearing that one?
I think it was just the big teams that everybody was shocked at, but I think the wee teams came out, and I think the big teams sat in, which was weird. Normally it's the other way round where the weird teams kind of sit off, look for the counter attacks, but I feel as if the big teams were doing that right at the start of the World Cup.
I think there was some teams still looking to implement their actual style. And based on certain styles like Japan, so I don't know how Japan managed to press like that. See in that heat.
I know.
Obviously we'll get into the official stuff. Obviously Japan out in that in a wee bit, but see pressing like that for that long, that's unbelievable. In that heat, that's. Could you press like that?
Maybe a year ago under Kenny, but
a few drinks in him and he'll press. Turn up hung over and he's pressing everything.
Kenny's my football manager, by the way, just so everybody knows.
We had an interesting one at the weekend where Kenny's team and Conor's team played my team. How did you get on at the weekend?
I know I was good, mate. My bed was comfy. The missus brought me breakfast in bed to cheer me up that I was dropped by somebody. But I know it was good.
With good reason.
With good reason, because the team's immense.
He'll be back in soon. No, it was how do you feel about the game?
I think I'll just bounce it straight back to you because I don't know how much I want to get into it, to be honest with you.
It was 4-1 to Flip, by the way. That's the mindset.
That's going the ball into it. No, it was good. It was obviously you just had a few players that used to be in Flip. I think Flip have came on massively. We've now got a phenomenal young squad and very, very talented, but I needed the right. I've went through maybe about 60 players and I never understood that, but Barry Ferguson told us after the podcast, we're in the lift and I was talking to him about these plans and he was like, you might go through 100 players to get one that you like, so you've got to understand that it might take 10 years to build a team. We're maybe 2.5 years into it now and we've got it, and I thought, I used to think, I've lost another player off, they've left, off 8 of them have left at the same time, blah blah blah, and I used to think, oh no, what am I doing wrong? But it's literally just, you will search through the players until you get the players who fit, and when you get that, you hit a jackpot. And now we're maybe 1 or 2 players away from the teams. I sit and watch it and I think I've
a lot of pride.
Yeah, they are fantastic. And you've seen the young boys, the midfielder's 17, the other midfielder's 18. We get a boy for the Rangers Academy, 19. We get maybe 3-4 ex-junior players in, 2 ex-pros in. It's the standards is electric, you know. But they've not none of that. Like, so we were missing 3 senior players on probably 3 of our best players on Sunday to add in. But see, getting them all together. It's hard, but I think now that this is what I'm saying with the fit, every one of them players want to be at training now. They want to come. They will stop whatever they're doing and come to training. Whereas the players we had before, you were getting 6 or 7 at training. Do you know what I mean? All these boys you'll turn up and there's 19 players and you're like that. Whoa, 19 boys that have put down the Xbox or the booze or the birds or whatever to just come and learn and listen. You can't.
You're right. It's mad, especially when we started. Obviously, I came with you. I was obviously the first player. I was actually our captain at the start.
You
That
were.
shows you how bad the team was then. But no, I think it demoralises even the players that you had then when we used to turn up to training. There was only 8-9 people. Do you know what I mean? It's demoralising, but it's good to see the boys kicking on though.
It's demoralising when you've not. I think this is why it takes so long, and why maybe people don't take the chance to. You've run a team as well to even set up a team now, because many people were like, don't do it. I talked to managers from Ashfield to Blaming to Maryhill Black Star to wherever, and there was a lot of managers that were like, don't do it. Headache, you'll put a boy out the team and he'll
Headache.
it's like you'll put a boy out the team, he'll try and say your money embezzling or your more or whatever, you know what I mean? And this is just a boy you've just put out the team for having bad attitude, you know what I mean? But this is just like this is the things you deal with, or I don't know who, but it's like it's really it's eye-opening. But as I say, I've done this for the other reasons. I wanted to make a mental health safe space, which is changing now because we're going, well, what's happened with the women's team, and then the men's team is getting to a place where you can't have it so much a mental health safe space anymore, because we have so much progression to do, and we have to make things difficult for the boys to progress. It can't just be like cuddles all around and all that stuff. It needs to be a really intense environment. So what we're doing is creating rec teams and first teams. So a recreational team where we'll mental health safe space, both teams can go to that, and then the two first teams where serious.
I think it's a pressure pot you talk about all the time.
Yeah.
You make it a pressure pot so that it's like you either thrive or you don't.
Yep.
You either become better or you don't, and I think that's.
And I think people take it personal when they don't thrive. You're right there. See, if they don't thrive, they take that personal and then take it out on me. And it's, listen, I'm just creating an environment. If you, it's like some people like coffee, some people like tea. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like. If it's
some
not
people
for
like
you,
mollycoddled and some people like
if it's not for you, fuck it. Do you know what I mean?
Is that one of the hardest aspects of managing a team, even at that level? It's reading character as well as ability, and you need to know so for you, for example, someday you might just need an arm around you, say, listen, just screw the nut a wee bit, or other days you need to get in someone's face and say, listen, need you to lift the standard a wee bit. Yeah,
two things. I think you're right. You can either do it that way if you've already got a style and a vision for the club. What we were doing was building that. I wanted to build a vision so they know when they come in, this is what's done, this is how we do it. I'll help you in every aspect of your life. I'll try and get you a job. I'll help you in your bad days, But what you'll have is you'll have boys come in and they'll want the model coddling, and then they'll feel out of place, and then they'll start maybe snaking about, and then they'll create an environment where people are scared to talk to you, and that's where they can feel accepted in the environment that they're not thriving in, do you know? And then that creates problems. So it's just getting everyone to sing off the same hymn sheet, which now everyone is. It's phenomenal. So now training's happy, games are happy, everyone's progressing. If they need anything, they'll come straight to me again. I've just brought a UEFA C licence coach in to take the level up again. So there's big things. It was never something that I always had a vision. It was just waiting until it kicked in.
I know. I completely agree. Maybe we'll get some pressing in like Japan in the next couple of weeks.
I won't be doing that anyway.
That leads us nicely onto the World Cup. But before we get into the official nitty gritty, let me kick us off with a wee segment of the show we like to call the Big 3 Points.
Here we go.
I've picked a starting 11 of players on a 4-3-3 formation. So far we've covered goalkeeper and the full back four. So tonight we'll focus on I see him as a box-to-box midfielder, but some people have a different take. So what I'm going to do is give you the 3 big points or 3 clues. You've got 3 guesses to guess the player. If you guess the player correctly, you win yourself the big 3 points. If we get through all the clues and no one's picked up the points, everybody ultimately forfeit. So Ben's Craig overtook. Craig went top last week
with the 6 points.
So Craig's 9 now.
9
You're
now.
6. You really
I've got nothing. I need this.
You really need
I
points.
need this, and I've got a feeling that Kenny's going to get it, and I'm going to still have none.
Cool. So this player has played in Scotland and represented their nation at a World Cup during or since the 1998 World Cup, right?
Cool.
So your first big clue. We ready? I watch some anticipation.
I am. I
don't speak to the third clue, mate, so I'm doing well so far.
Okay, so this player has played with Mikel Arteta, John Hughes, and Ed Milson.
And Emilson.
Ed Milson.
Ed Milson.
If you get it wrong, are you out?
No, so you get 3 guesses. So I'll do the first one now. Second one a little bit later on.
So
Then
you
third
gotta
one at
guess
the
every
very
I
round.
think he's got it right. He
One
just looks
guess every-
confident, doesn't he?
Every round
Just
you
looks
get-
confident.
It's in my head. I'm just thinking. No, right. I'll wait.
No,
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 so
you
you
don't
sorry.
guess. You don't guess.
You, you get one guess per round, so you're as well just throwing a name out.
Is it Thomas Gravison?
Not Thomas Gravison. When would they have played with Mikel Arteta?
Don't know.
This is what he does. He just shouts out a name.
Who have they played with again? Mikel Arteta,
Mikel
Nielsen.
Arteta, John Hughes, and Ed Milson. It's a good one this week.
John Hughes. So he's played with 2 Scottish clubs.
Listen. Listen, maybe that's the second clue, maybe that's the third clue, who knows? So we'll come back to that.
He never says nothing at all. He just goes, I don't know.
Just,
until the
well,
third clue.
just throw a name out.
Listen, you collect your cards and then you come out with a flush. You know what I'm saying?
You're still
I'm-
boring,
I'm-
man, honestly. At least I tried.
I'd make myself to be a. Aye, I'm not saying that word in this. Aye, no, I'm not doing that. I'll respectively pass in mine. I'm collecting information.
I'm collecting information too.
We'll just move on, come back to it. Yep. Right, okay.
Fucking dickheads, honestly, man.
So okay, so we'll just move straight into the football then. So
Has he played with John Hughes at club level or?
I can't even
Can't
do
Can't tell you
that.
specifically. We'll come back to the big 3 points, but that takes us on to the football. Holland, USA. What are we thinking?
I didn't expect that much of a demolition. Put it that way. I didn't expect that. I thought USA might have got a couple of goals, honestly. But I think that might be the Dutch. That I might be that them kick-started now.
Yeah.
I think that might be them.
I agree with that.
They're playing their football well, and I think they'll go on. Would you think, Begin?
I thought it was good. I thought USA. I think we were watching it and here as well. I thought USA, if they nicked a goal when they were pressuring them, I think it was only one or maybe 2. It would have been a different game. But I think the Netherlands quality just kind of shows they've got big players that have been in big moments that know how to control a game.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how I've seen it.
Definitely.
What were they feeding to pay?
Oh,
Oh my god.
Like, how can you be
Unbelievable.
totally unfit one week and coming back from whatever it was, and then the next
unreal.
week just be unbelievable?
I don't know.
Or the
It
next
wasn't
3
just-
days,
But
4 days
I
later.
think that's his career, but innit? His career's always done that. Like you
Yeah.
don't hear nothing of him
Yeah.
for 3-4 months, and then it's everything's about Dubai, everything's Dubai.
It
What a
wasn't even
player.
just his
Aye,
running
he's
ability, man. It was just see the way that he was pulling the ball down out of nowhere, and then it would just take somebody out the game.
Aye.
Wee step left, wee step right. Unbelievable, man.
I think they maybe had a wee bit of team bonding over there, and because I seen they were on the yacht. Did you see that?
That was
So that was
unbelievable.
cool.
By
They're
the
just
way,
all on a yacht with juices and that, playing cards and that, and it looked
is that
proper
the?
chilled.
I don't know if this is true. Correct me if I'm wrong, but over Twitter the past few days, I've seen that's the incentive for Flip the Mindset. You get to go on a yacht if you go the rest of the season undefeated. That's what I saw.
Yeah, I don't know who's paying for it. A
See
paper yacht.
the sights of Gavin Hould in the
We
Daily
own
Blind
boat.
as well.
Yeah.
Daily Blind as well. I thought was
Aye,
brilliant.
he was unreal, man.
Very
He's
surprising.
I think he's the exact same as I was saying. I feel as if he just goes missing and he just comes up all the time. I think players at Bergwijn as well just turned up majorly for him, isn't he?
Aye.
Like he's so good, man. He's so good.
Cody Gakpo as well.
Oh mate, he's
Unbelievable
unreal, man.
player.
I think he might be the most informed winger in the world, isn't he?
Cody, but Gakpo.
I
is
think
that
so,
what you
mate.
say?
Because for PSV he's been unreal. I think he's won the Eredivisie Player of the Month twice in a row.
Did you put him over Messi?
For inform, aye. Aye.
Really?
Aye.
You backing that?
I think the only
It's
man.
different players. I think it's hard to go into GOAT status with Messi and Ronaldo in it and compare them.
I mean, Ronaldo's no starting, so
Oh, I know it
No.
didn't start the night. I know it's weird, isn't it?
I know,
I
Kenny's
think that could
Look.
be a maybe a strategic thing.
Think so?
If the game was close, they could have brought him on because he's no lasting 100 and something
No.
minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, if we went to extra time,
Yeah,
aye.
but as well, you got to remember he's old. He might be carrying knocks, man.
Aye.
I mean, I'm sore for 7 days after I run about 15 minutes, so it must be tough for him.
Aye, no, definitely.
we'll get onto the Portugal thing. But all this talk about going to a big club and then now he's supposedly gone for the money after saying he wouldn't. But
I think that was inevitable, wasn't it? Because it's happening with Messi now as well. I think everybody expected that when Messi left Barca. I think everybody was expecting Messi to go for money, and obviously he went PSG, which is kind of for money. But and then when Ronaldo went back to Man U, I think this has been a long time in the work.
If Fabrizio's not confirmed it, then it's not even.
Aye, true.
happening. He's just said that it's been put out there, but that also is very smart because Ronaldo could have phoned him and says, "Put it out there.
And see what
Let's
happens.
see what Chelsea and that come in with."
Well,
So
I
it
think
could
that's
be
what he done with the
smart.
Man United interview as
Yeah.
well with Piers. Do you know what I mean? I think that's he's done that as well. He's put that out.
See, it's it's as much as you agree or you don't agree with that interview, he has opened up a can of worms for footballers to come out and speak against clubs,
Yeah.
which is obviously not a thing you want to it's not like a thing that should be. It should be a positive thing. No football, hardly any footballer will come out and speak if he's gay. Hardly any footballer will come out and say they've got problems financially or in the team. And me I've played at that pro level where you just don't do it. You know, you just. I would do it now, knowing what I know now, do what I do. It's an unwritten rule that you never talk about the club. And I've watched clubs tear players apart, make them play through injuries, give them nothing, and that player may as well just have went and, you know what I mean, and you know, he could have went and, you know, done himself in or whatever, because you've got no one, you've got your friends and family, the club's the club, no player's bigger than the club. But Cristiano Ronaldo's bigger than the whole Premier League. You know what I mean? Exactly. It's not like his generation and his globalness of him and Messi, they are everything they are football. Then, like anyone in our age in the last 20 years talks football, it's Ronaldo, Messi. So it's not that you're not big in the club. I think that was a bad thing we said, and it was a good thing for fans to say, like, oh, no one's bigger than Rangers, no one's bigger than Celtic. You couldn't be, no one's bigger than that. But what everyone is human beings, and we need to. I think there maybe needs to be a bit more player protection.
I think so too.
You know, because he was right. That like clubs will just go and you won't even. I remember I was trialling at a club. 5 days I was there. I'll not say the club, but I swear to God, the manager didn't even speak to any of the players for them 5 days.
Really?
Not one of them. It was the coaching staff. Coaching staff done all the stuff. I don't think the manager left the office maybe twice. He came out and seen us, and he would just walk about, talk to the things and all that.
That sounds like a Gerard Beale situation, doesn't it?
Honestly, nothing. And he would.
I don't know.
No, Gerard, he liked being in the park, but like this, and then what happened is they had a game in the Saturday, and he came down on the Friday at like must have been about 2 o'clock, just before we clocked off, and he came down and talked about the game and blah blah blah, this and that, and I thought to myself, you don't know any of these boys. You don't know it. How can they play for you if they don't know you? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think that's that people spoke about Fergie a lot of that, didn't they? He knew everything about you. Like there's a story, I think it's Ferdinand, and he sent Ferdinand's dad flowers when he was in the hospital, and Rio didn't tell him his dad was in. So Rio's dad and Fergie used to chat, used to text. So it's known players on a personal level. I think
never forget that.
Yeah, things like that are special. What about Argentina, Australia? Magic Messi at it again.
It's just typical, innit?
Australia were unlucky, I thought.
I thought they done well. I'm looking at the big man because he's been backing them for the start.
He did.
I think Messi just being Messi, innit? He's like I said last week, he just picks up the team, right, come on, let me show you. This is what we'll just go and do that. And I think that's how he's so much better than Ronaldo. If Ronaldo's national team's drafting him and Messi's picking his team up and running them through.
What is it between them, 2 years as well?
Aye.
Well, I think
there's an element of that as well, possibly.
Well, I think as well, but see, I did say at the start, like, I can't even remember my prediction. I said Argentina maybe, you're Brazil, Argentina, Brazil. But see, as the tournament goes on, I feel they're looking weaker.
Argentina?
And that's just my opinion. I feel like
Argentina were horrible, man.
I thought they were really.
I turned one game off 10 minutes before the end because they were so bad.
I think they're so slow.
So they're just not. They're just nowhere near where Messi is, and Messi's about 50. Like they're just nowhere near in the wavelength, and that's always been the case. They've always just been nowhere near the level of him. He needs Neymar's.
Everybody's talking about how this. I still think they'll win it, right? But everybody's talking about how this is the best Argentina team he's had, and this is it, and blah blah blah. Right? This guy used to have Aguero. Higuain. Like this team was never a really bad team. He's always had players on about him, but like you said, they'll just know it that.
I think they're too individual
and underperform it.
Underperformance. It's not even just World Cups. I mean, how long did that take him to win the Copa America? Was that 5 tries?
Do you know who I've been shocked at? See Di Maria.
I knew you were going to say that.
I grew up watching Di Maria. I loved him. I had a Real Madrid top, despite being a Barca fan with Di Maria in the back because I loved Di Maria. Be brutal, man. It's just.
I think that's him just getting old as well.
Yeah,
I think he's just getting old as well.
I think the hard thing is like players get old, and this is I think the comparison with Ronaldo and Messi. Now Messi's small gravity, so he's got better gravity to the ground, and he's smaller. His joints will most likely probably be in better shape. Ronaldo's tall. His game's athletics. You can't be an athlete at 40. Do you know what I mean? Like, so that's why. And also, you take the mental part and the mindset part. How many players have we seen go through these mindset blocks? Pogba, Arshavin, Torres.
So many.
We've got right now Di Maria. He's just a wee
Shevchenko when he went to Chelsea.
He's a wee bit off his game. Di Maria, Ronaldo. People are still expecting Ronaldo to go and win this World Cup, but he's also just off a mindset block. He's not feeling himself. Messi's just get back from that, because he was a bit off a few months ago.
The first season at PSG, he wasn't really involved.
Now I think he's starting to enjoy it again, but simply that's because PSG have built the team around him. Mbappe does his own thing anyway.
Yeah.
PSG have made a team where Mbappe, Neymar and Messi must cover about 1 kilometre a game.
Aye, pretty much.
And the rest of the team do about 8 each.
Your boy Rabiot.
I think, mate, I think that takes us on to France, Poland. Has Mbappe got the golden boot now? Do you think anyone's capable of pulling it back?
No, I think that might be it. Because I think they might go all the way now.
I don't know if they'll. I don't know if they'll go all the way. I think they'll beat England, but I think, see, when he plays, he looks like he's going to score 2 or 3 a game. His movement, the way that he just runs at folk, commits people.
Do you see that shot, the way he put the shot inside? So he's meant to open up and then put it inside. The keeper must have been like,
What are you doing, mate?
like, you're supposed to go
He's
that
a chance.
side, mate, you know
He's
what
a
I mean?
chance.
I think he's a phenomenal player. Ability wise is off the charts, right? But I think just by looking at it and you're playing, 80 minutes is on the board, but see, has he got too much confidence? Like,
I don't think you can have too much confidence on it. I see, especially as an attacker, if you're constantly wanting to run at people, that's kind of your job. So if you've got the confidence to do that, I think lacking confidence is a bigger problem than having too much confidence as an attacker.
There's a difference between confidence and arrogance. Is that maybe
that's what arrogance? Sorry,
arrogance
that's
issue?
That's the topic of conversation now. Has he get too much? Is he not?
Because let's be honest, if he's
he runs a football team,
doesn't matter though. If he's getting battered 2-0 England, it's the 65th minute and a ball gets overplayed to him. His hands are up in the air.
Aye.
He was huffing about like no man's business, wasn't he, tracking his runner? You kind of mentioned before that you want a team of boys that run for you, like he says.
Is that perception then? Like, because I know some of us will think he's get too much, and some of us will think no, he's. I
think it is perception. I think you as an attacker, right, we've said this so many times, we've got opinions on players, right? It's like, I've got one that plays for Celtic that I've already been told I'm not allowed to mention, right? And he's one of Celtic's best players in the last 20 years, right? And I
Forrest.
I can't like,
bleep that.
I think your problem with Forrest is you take issue with his work ethic.
I don't
you
like
see
it.
issues that maybe other people don't see.
Because I'm a midfielder, right, and I know I need to run and run and run and run. You'll see it for differently because you're an attacker. See if he loses the ball and he doesn't immediately spin back and chase the ball in, I'm like, what are you doing that? I'm going off my nut. Do you know what I mean?
I get it, but
That's
does Mbappe
perfectly
do that?
okay though. That's your perception of football. It's how you watch it. You might watch it totally different. I know, like, my mate's Forrest is like God to my mate. So like,
No, don't get me
totally
wrong, right?
perception.
Forrest is unreal. See, when you get 100 goals and 100 assists for a team, right? He's up there. He's up there now with one of the greats. Do you know what I mean? But it's just frustrating. But it was the same with Rogic for me. Like, Rogic would come on do like amazing things, and then you win the same for 60 minutes, and I'd be like, do it 5 times a game instead of just once.
What a player he was.
Do you know what I mean? Unreal.
Are we giving Poland credit?
I don't know. I think they had their moments early on. I thought, and see for
Why
me,
would you not play? Why would you not build a team around Lewandowski?
Just go wide and put the ball in the box. I don't understand how that's. Go wide all the time. Don't play a back 5. Play a back 3 with wingers and just put the ball in the box constantly. Just that should be the only thing you should be doing.
I do get it. I think they've tried to play to their strengths. Lewandowski can do whatever he does for anywhere on the pitch. He showed that in the group stages. He was pretty good in the group stages. So I think they thought by keeping 9 men behind the ball, 10 including the goalie, zip it up to him. See if you've got 30 yards between your midfield and your striker. I think they think he's good enough to do that. Against France, probably no. I think you need to get someone closer to him, because if you're going to keep the ball against some of the best defenders in the world, you need a bit of help. You can't do it yourself. So unless you're Kenny, to be fair, you could maybe have done it.
I said that in the last podcast. I says he's playing at a position too much. I think I flipped it in for the last 25 minutes, and 3 or 4 times he picked the ball up at right wing, and I'm thinking, what you got to do with that?
I know.
The ball doesn't get past the first man. Get balls into the box, even if it's for the halfway line. Clip the ball into the box. Go and fill it up. Like, I just thought it. Like you says, I just feel they were really flat and just didn't come prepared.
I was really disappointed with Poland, really, because they could have had a real good run. The chances they missed, and then you could see them almost bringing Lewandowski down to their level. You could just see him, like, see when he missed that first penalty.
Oh,
you know.
Don't even get me started about the run-ups.
You would have put your mortgage on, if anybody in the World Cup's going to get a penalty, he'd been your tap free, he's going to put the ball away. Do you know what I mean? And then he goes.
But then, to be fair, Lloris was right off his line.
He was.
So
What's your takes on that? And I'll ask you individually, right? What's your take on the slow stuttering penalty? What do you think of it? Because we've saw a few times over the last 2-3 days. See when it doesn't come off, man, it doesn't look good at all.
Well, I think I backed myself as a penalty taker, but I know Kenny gave me one on my first
You
game.
missed it.
My first game, I won a penalty, and I was trying to get it to Martin, who's actually part of the podcast. Trying to get the ball to Martin. He's like, "No, you take it for the side of the part." And I was like, "I'm not ready. It's my first game. I'm not ready." Right at the keeper, right in the middle, right at the keeper. But I think it's just, I don't know. See, it is intimidating. You're going to say that you should never miss them.
He shouldn't miss a penalty.
Right. But
I don't think he should.
I think at the same time, you're a footballer and you put the ball in the back of the net. If that's your job as a striker, you should be always scoring them. But then there's also keepers that practice and study in every single place that you've put it. Do you know what I mean? How many times do you think you would have watched videos of Lewandowski hitting penalties before you even gone into that
Probably,
game?
but more specifically, what's your take on the stutter and run up?
It's if that's what you're comfortable doing, fair play. It's like Ronaldinho's free kick technique. If they what you doing, why are you doing that? The wee sandbag. That's just how he's learned to take them. So if that's just how he's learned to do it, and it's like Jorginho's wee half step. If they loved it until he missed two, and now he's got much to do that
You're
for.
probably right. Yeah.
So I think it's just.
What do you think of that?
there's a lot of variables to penalties. One of them's luck. The other is luck of where the keeper goes. The other one is positioning of the body, which is luck. And skill, and it's like the golf swing. Your body has to be positioned right. If you're on grass and there's any movement in the grass when you go and hit it, fighting yourself from the. Or sorry for the swear. Sorry, my podcast I normally swear.
No,
I'm a swearer.
You can swear on here, mate. Don't worry. You can swear on here.
Just harder for James to edit later.
Cracking yourself from the fans and watching things can go wrong. I mean, I've stepped up in front of Carlisle. We were playing Carlisle and I'd scored 2 and I was going for my hat-trick, so I took the penalty and I stepped up and I swear to God, that was going top left. It wasn't going by the post.
Where did it go?
By the post. But I've done everything right. I've done everything right. So I think there's an element of repetition, practice, everything to it, and then mindset, and then some days you just feel rubbish. You're going to kick a ball and you're just like, I just don't feel it.
That's me every Sunday.
So there's so much to it. So imagine doing it at their level in front of. You're thinking in the way up, the world is watching me.
Aye, there's 3.5 billion people will see this.
That's true.
People change when it comes to your country, doesn't it? Like, alright, doing it for Man United, off we lose, mate, I'm signing for Bayern next year. You imagine Scotland and it's the final of the World Cup.
That's actually good.
Let's be real, right? It comes down to us, right? I would shove my hand up for a penalty straight away.
I always would.
$1,000,000%.
I took them in pre-season, never missed one, came back for Ibiza, man. I was like, nah, you're not taking one. I was like, alright, man, fair enough. But what's your take on the stuttering penalty?
Oh, no, bin it. No.
No for it at all?
No at all, mate.
I think I'm on a level with you where, I suppose both of you, if that's your practice and that's your routine, if you practice it and it comes off, no one's going to moan. If you run up and just leather it and you hit it off the post,
people
you hit it over the bar, people are going to say, why is he not trying to place it?
Yeah.
I think whatever you do, there's going to be criticism, and you'll probably have experienced that at the top level. So
you're spot on. That anything you do, some fan won't like.
Yeah.
Like the starting. I didn't answer the start of the. I seen Mbappe do it. I thought it was phenomenal. He ran up, started again, just placed it in as if the keeper wasn't even there. I thought that was fantastic. It's how I think there's an element of confidence in calmness, because when he looks up just before he kicks it, you see a keeper move. So how do you then? Look back down and then kind of.
But every coach always teaches you to pick a spot before you go up. So see, even if you see the keeper diving that way, you've already said to your head, tap left, tap left, tap left, tap
so
left.
I wonder if that's what they do. It'd be good to ask them, like say Mbappe, do you
know what you're doing before you do it?
Yeah, or do you literally wait for the keeper to move, change your mind?
But see, I think a prime example of a really good penalty taker is Harry Kane. Right? Like, I just feel, don't get me wrong, I don't know the stats, speed of the ball, whatever I'm just watching him.
He scored 16 penalties for England. That's 9 more than second place. So I'm pretty sure it's Gary Lineker who was on 7. It's a mad stat, mate. See if you look at the goals he scored for England, it's something like 34% of them or something have came for the spot.
How far is he away for Rooney?
He's top. I'm pretty sure he's top goal
Is he
scorer.
top?
I
Is
think
he- did
Harry
he
Kane's
beat him?
top goal scorer. Aye, positive.
How many has Ronaldo scored, man?
Oh,
I don't know.
The pen
He
machine.
must be like 150 pens, man.
easy.
See when he gets a pen, I never think he's going to miss.
Aye.
I don't know why.
I would agree with Ronaldo as well.
I
would
see
agree with Ronaldo.
when he's up, I'm thinking that's 1-0
Aye.
or that's 2-1. There's never a doubt in my mind.
I think him and Kane hit them so similar. It's so
Yeah.
the precision and the power combined. How do you stop that as a goalkeeper?
Tartney is
you've
actually
been
really
asked
good
to-
at penalties as well.
Tab.
I'd have
I'll
to.
just say I did score my penalty on Sunday there, so
Oh,
Well
aye,
done.
I've
I'm one
seen
up.
that. I've seen
I've
that.
seen
Well
that.
done, mate. Is that your first goal?
first goal, mate.
First
Who are you
goal
playing
for
with now?
Denny Warriors, mate. Just an FFI team.
Is it? Oh, is that to get fit to play?
Aye, so yeah, so
Love it.
there's a boy that hopefully we're in talks with. He does TikTok and that, so that's how I kind of got introduced to that scene on TikTok.
Mhm.
Gave him a message, a few teams just to come down and train, and then it's been good. Like I've always been about football, but just obviously not being the fitter side of it. So
Yep.
You enjoying
actual, that's what I'm saying. Going and really enjoying it. Like you says, with the boys around you, like I'm buzzing for Wednesday nights. Like even though my missus in Falkirk and I need to go to Falkirk to
Yeah.
play, I'm no forward to looking
By the
forward
way,
to seeing my missus.
this-
But I was getting that one.
This is the best touch I've ever seen a player in my life. By the way, I'm
See, what
telling
we'll
you,
do-
the
see what we'll do.
touches.
We're lucky here at Wireless HQ, right? We've got a phenomenal bit of Astrograss that we just don't have the key for yet,
Aye.
right? So we've had a wee bit of Astro installed out in the bit there. I'll take you and show you. So in the meantime, what we'll do is we've got a nice wee reception area. I reckon we zip a couple of balls at you two and see us.
We need to be fair, man. I've not even got my blindfold to put on. No, but it's been good. But back to the topic anyway.
What we saying about England Senegal? I didn't think it was a 3-0 game. The second half, maybe England ran over the top. A wee bit, but
I
thought Senegal
did
started
expect me for Senegal. I'm not gonna lie. I said that on here. I thought they would have gave them a challenge, especially with how gritty Senegal were.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? They just want the ball back all the time. Want the ball. But England just England it, didn't they?
Aye.
They just England
I
it.
think two teams have got it really, really wrong the last couple of days. South Korea and Senegal. And I think it's just been the managers just got it wrong the first half. And then the second half's been damage limitation. South Korea, did they not win 1-0 the second half?
Yeah,
Yeah,
was it South Korea?
It's fought Brazil before.
Aye, so 1-0 the second half, and they were a lot tighter. And they missed so many chances. They had
Aye.
like 3 chances at the end to square it.
How good a save was that, Alisson?
Oh,
With
Unbelievable.
shot.
It's different.
Mate, Alisson's save was unreal, man.
I actually think his distribution and everything this World Cup's been superb.
Do you think he's the best keeper in the world?
I think so, and I think he's put the argument to the debate between him and Ederson now. For me, I'm a City fan. I've said that a couple of times on here now, but for me, Ederson maybe offers you something a bit different in terms of the option to go long, and it's not just going long and hitting and hoping.
That's
It's,
precise.
you fire it into a channel and it's perfectly weighted. Somebody's getting there and it advances the team 60 yards up the park.
yeah.
But Alisson, for me, can play it. Maybe not as good as Ederson, but you're a goalkeeper first and foremost. You've got to be saving goals.
I've always said for the last 4 or 5 years that I've been watching Jan Black, I've always said he's the best keeper in the world.
I think Pickford's distribution's a lot better.
Obviously I'm a that's
would
mental.
say.
That's mental. What you've just said there. But obviously I'm an
I would
athletic
actually
fan.
agree with him, to be fair.
So, but I think if I'm not saying Jan Black, I think it would be Alisson. I think Alisson might be the best keeper in the world.
I thought Senegal, I thought they kind of cut their hands off before it even started, and that was a shame because I thought they had a good chance against England, and they didn't even allow England to get scared. Because if you can scare England in the first 10, they do crumble. And they've got, they're playing Harry Maguire at centre back. That'll be exposed with as we get on the tournament.
You think you would just put pace right up against them straight away, didn't you?
Yeah,
And try and put them under
100%.
pressure.
But
And
Senegal
don't
didn't
play
even-
long balls. Don't.
See, for me personally, I wouldn't. If I was setting a team up and it's easy enough sitting here saying it, you need to have the players and the resources to do it. But for me, see if I'm setting up against the England team, whether it be whatever team, you've got to take Scotland because that's unfortunately who we support. But if I'm setting a Scotland team up to press England, I'm not going to bother about Harry Maguire. I don't worry about Harry Maguire. Stop Stones getting the ball. Stick Dykes on Stones. Leave Maguire on the ball. See them at times in the Senegal, the first half against Senegal. He fires it right into the middle of the park. See the amount of times that you can win the ball back doing
It's
that.
a great tactic.
That's what I would do. Leave him on the ball.
You're right because he does it for Man City. So it's not like he only does it for England, so you only get to see it 3 or 4 times a year. He does it for Man City consistently every game. That's how they get it.
With Stones?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Stones. I think Stones can play. I think he's a bit suspect defensively in terms of 1v1s and that, but he's brilliant in the air. There was a start last season, he won the most headers in Europe.
He's getting better at his 1v1s as well. He's putting the work in. I just thought I think the England game was not really what it was, and it wasn't really. They didn't.
The scoreline flattered them.
Yeah, flattered them. I'm not sure. I'm really. Who have they got? France next.
Aye.
France.
Surely they don't get by France.
We'll
man.
come back to that.
England are going to win the World Cup.
What did you say?
What?
England are going to win the
Are you
World Cup.
predicting
I
it?
cannot believe you just said that.
I've said some wild statements. I've said some accurate statements. I've heard you speak a lot. I feel. I don't know if the energy's going to come out, and I'm getting it. But
It's that seat, sitting in that seat. Makes people say wild
It's that
stuff.
seat, man.
I just feel. I don't know. I just feel they've got the talent. The squad depth's unbelievable. I think they go and. I think they thrash France.
Do you think?
I honestly think they thrash
Do you
France.
think they thrash them?
I think they thrash them.
But do you think they've got the world class players, but that in a situation can say, right, I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to do this?
Player
I think your
for
front
player.
areas-
That's why you've got
front
Henderson in there.
areas.
Well,
in
they
front of
always have
front areas.
world class players.
Aye.
Every World Cup I've watched since I've been a boy, in every European competition, they've always had one of the best
But
teams
they've
in the
just
world.
never managed to do it,
They just
and
can't do it,
I
yeah.
want to know why.
They've not got a winning mentality. They've got, and it's the same with the Scotland. Our fans and us as a nation, we're the worst things
And we're against the
about
team.
our teams. You see it with Rangers and Celtic, and with like Manchester United and all that, and like England and Scotland. We put pressure, and I don't know if it's just culturally, we put such a pressure on our players and such a pressure to win when we don't even deserve it. Scotland don't deserve to win nothing.
Well, mate,
You know what I mean?
well,
And that's why we don't deserve it yet, because we've not worked for it.
It's weird you say that because
Like-
when we went through the qualifiers, we went to the Ukraine game,
Yeah.
and I was greeting when we lost against Ukraine, right? And we're walking back to the motor, and I'm pure raging, and there's people laughing. There's people walking down the street laughing. We've just been we could have went to the World Cup, and we've just been knocked out, and there was people, and I was raging. Remember this? We're walking back, and I was like, "What is that to be laughing about?" The national team's just been knocked out. Maybe I just feel differently. I don't know,
I think generally speaking, it's no. I'm not saying what you feel is a bad thing. Obviously, Scotland went out. I was disappointed as well. I sat disappointed in the car on the way home. Once we got to the pub and had a few after it, I was like, do you know what? Try again next year. I think if you get to a stage where you start letting the football dictate your mood and your life,
mate.
which you do, like
I do, man.
I've seen firsthand through you the effect that it can have.
But England's even worse. Do you not think like all the way they speak, the way the media build it up, and it keeps going, and then these England players are like,
But they
and then they let it go onto the park with them, and they just come short
But
every time.
They think that they have. This is me actually saying. They think they have world class players because they have the best league in the world, which they do, right? But the top 3 players in the league aren't English,
Yeah, I know.
and they never have been.
That's
Do you know
an
what I
interesting
mean?
point. That's an interesting
So
point.
it's
Just
like
to-
they think because they've got the biggest league in the world that
Yeah.
they're this world class team. They're not.
They do think that it's almost entitlement.
Aye,
Yeah,
it is.
I do get that, because I hated that this week. I've been watching a lot of the English commentators, and they're slaughtering other countries.
aye, we
And
spoke
I'm
about
like,
that earlier.
what the fuck? What, like, who
You should
are
hear
you
top
to
spot.
slaughter these other
You should-
countries and like their players and how bad they're playing?
See on English media.
You've never done a thing.
I'll ask you this one last question before we move on to the big 3 points, and we'll get the half time done. But just the final question, just on England. What did you make of Gary Lineker's comments about not playing Kyle Walker because they need him against France? So they had written Senegal off. Okay, they've overcome Senegal, but Walker played. What did you think of his comments though, like dismissing Senegal like that? Do you think that's?
I think that's his job as an English pundit, right? To constantly be England. But it gets to a point then when it starts to get offensive because one of their biggest players came into your league and destroyed it for 3 seasons.
Yeah, well, that's
Sadio Mane, and he destroyed it. No, just he tore Kyle
He made
Walker
it look
apart.
silly, man.
Aye, tore Kyle Walker apart, tore John Stones apart, tore Harry Maguire apart on multiple occasions, and then you want to come out and I don't know. It's 50-50, but
Tactically, could have been
Aye.
tactically done.
it could have been.
As you shouldn't. I think they've disrespected many countries over the last couple of weeks. To be honest, I've been a bit disappointed.
But
with
their
Gary.
attitude towards Wales, man,
Yeah.
was
I've had to put them off a wee bit. Sometimes I've literally listened to games with the volume down, just honestly, just because of the wild things they're saying about players. And like they were, I don't know if it was Wales or someone, but they kept going, "It's just so bad" or something like that. Just so. And I'm like,
do the accent again.
no. And I'm thinking,
No, you're
I'll
right,
support England if they're going to play. You know, half my family's England, but I'm just like, you've not done a thing.
I know
Not
they've
a
literally
thing.
not done anything in
Just-
what, 70 years, nearly 70 years,
And you've got
60 something
like
years.
yous have had, and
yeah,
what's
aye.
even worse is you've had a team every time to win that World Cup. Every time you've had a team good enough to win that World
they
Cup.
had what was it, 2002 with Beckham?
The golden era.
Right. They had the best midfield in the world. Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard.
They just
Like,
kind of play together.
Did you?
Amazing.
But
But
that's
they
what I mean.
did. They did play together well. They just
They don't have that cutting edge.
They don't know what it's like to win a trophy, and I think that's now in their heads. Like Scotland, we don't know what it's like to qualify. I think we're getting closer than we ever were,
definitely.
because a lot of our players are going down south, and then we're pulling players from everywhere. And some are over in it's not Bromby, is it? It's Belgium, is it? It's a couple
Belgium,
that are playing in
Hendry and
Belgium and
stuff
stuff
like
like that.
Oh,
So, and we're getting loads of different styles in the Scottish team, but we still just don't even have that mindset. It's weird. It really annoys me.
Aye.
I think that's a pretty good way to tail off. And what we'll do is finish up with the big 3 points, and then we'll move into a wee half time. So the first clue that you got, the first big point, was this player has played with Mikel Arteta, John Hughes, and Ed Milson, the old Brazilian striker. This player so your second clue. This player has represented Trinidad and Tobago at the 2006 World Cup. Albeit he did only get 23 minutes, but he represented them.
Trinidad and
What
Tobago.
World Cup?
2006.
2008.
So that would have been
Try to put him off.
the 2006 World Cup.
So 4 tournaments ago.
So Trinidad and Tobago is Adebayor's team, isn't it?
I can't confirm.
I can't
I don't
confirm
know.
or deny it. I've got a player in my head. I know who it is, but I'm going to save it for the third round.
Why?
Sweat. Let them sweat.
I think I know who it is.
Give us it.
No.
That's the way you get the points.
Is
No,
it?
I'm waiting.
Is it Evander Snow?
Not Evander Snow. He was Dutch.
I know, but I was thinking maybe, because he never played for that, I was thinking maybe at some point he switched or something.
What is happening, guys? As you may have seen over the last couple of days on our social media channels, we are doing a fundraiser this year for Glasgow Children's Hospital charity as part of our Christmas appeal. Delighted to announce you're coming on, big man. How are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling good. I'll need to bring my wallet in case I miss a couple, man.
So it's 5 shots. You've got a penalty kick,
Mhm.
a free kick, a 1v1, a header, and a volley. How many you back yourself to score?
5.
5 out of 5. Can you back yourself?
5. I'm not even bringing money. Don't even need my wallet.
We'll see you Christmas Eve. Welcome back to the podcast. How we doing, boys?
Good.
He's in the face. No.
Did I just hit you? So,
I'm watching you, mate. I'm watching
I
you,
still
mate.
feel like I feel right. There, mate. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
mate.
lie. Sorry.
Mate, I'm getting him back for that. I'm 100% get you back for that. You watch yourself in the next episodes, mate.
Oh,
mate,
ladies
I
and
feel
gentlemen, before we get back into the second half as we normally do, I like to kick off with No Chance, but we've swapped that out this week. So we're dropping No Chance and we're introducing a little segment I'm calling Quick Fire Questions. So we're obviously very lucky to have Kenny on today, so I want to utilise that and just ask you a wee bit about your career. So I'll ask you, I've got 10 questions here. I'll ask you them, just answer off the cuff, right? Straight off your head. Best player you played with?
Andrew Mitchell.
Andrew Mitchell. Best player played against?
In each way.
Played against Anichebe? Where was that?
It was a friendly
No
trial
way.
game.
What's he like?
Big.
Best stadium you played in?
Annan.
But aye.
No, but I love it.
Your footballing hero?
Ronaldo Nazario.
Cristiano Ronaldo. Oh, R9.
Oh, 9. Real Ronaldo.
The favourite goal you've scored? You can't say Sunday.
At Dinky constantly, sure.
That's the only one I've got on there. 96-minute winner against Elgin to go top of the league.
Oof. Fantastic. The most famous person in your phone?
Ooh.
Barry Ferguson.
I know
Who's
you, mate.
Capaldi, maybe.
Give us your top three then.
Capaldi?
Give us your top three. You Capaldi?
Yeah, I done a charity thing with him.
What?
So I did, but I didn't actually meet him. He doesn't reply to my messages anymore.
Give us your third then. Give us your third.
My third, famous, John Hartson.
Oh, wow.
No, I've got Alan McCoy's.
You've got Alan
McCoy,
McCoy, I was going to say, aye.
Just had to throw that one in there. didn't you? The best manager you've played under?
John Joyce.
John Joyce. Where was that?
Or Stevie Mooney. I played with Stevie Mooney at Greenock. John Joyce was the assistant manager at Annan. He's managed at Ayr and Morton and all sorts of clubs. I was supposed to sign for Morton on a 4-year deal, and I let them down the night before because of my anxiety and my mental health.
Damn.
And he was the assistant manager, and I didn't even know. See, if I known he was
You would have flew up.
I would have flew up.
Aye.
No way. The biggest game you've played in?
It was actually taking the professional out of it or junior out of it, maybe a school cup final.
Oh,
I think there was about 1,000 people there, man. It was amazing, man.
That's cool.
So, or was that semi-final? It was against Mearns Castle, and they were brilliant. They had a lot of good players, and we had beat a team before it that had Lacey Sharif. Don't know if you remember Sharif. He signed for Rangers when he was a boy, and then we went to this Mearns Castle school, and they had all ex-pro guys, and I think they beat us maybe 2-1 in the last kick of the year. It was just surreal. It's a school memory of going up in the bus, fish and chips, like.
Well, I actually scored in a final against St Paul's.
Did you?
My dad gets sent off the park. My dad gets sent away.
Brilliant.
What's your best moment in football?
Best moment?
If you had to pick one.
We obviously I was released with Morton when I was 19 because of a manager change, which Davy Irons told me. I played with him at a charity match and we had a good talk about it. But we then played them when I was with Annan, and I scored 4 goals in like 35 minutes, and then the manager took me off at like 45 minutes in and just says, you've done what you've showed them what they missed. So it was
what's that feeling like? See, walking off the park at half time knowing you've obviously done your part for the team, but not just that, more than that, you've shut up your critics or you've silenced critics. What's that feeling like?
Was it a bit bittersweet for you?
With that, it's been so with me. As you know, I struggled a lot with my mental health, even through football, with losing my brother and that. So there was not many the happy moments for me when I scored the goals and the team won. Because when I was on the way home, I had a mum that was really grieving for her son, and I wasn't in the best place. So there was no happy time for me where I was constantly happy. It was so on the football park was when that ball rolled in the net, my heart just was full. It's weird.
I've not seen a goal of yours rolling in the net. Normally it's that things on the to be honest. Normally it's nets.
So
busted.
I don't. When I score a goal now, it's special because I move. I have to run 10 yards.
The goal on Sunday was special as well. To be fair, I thought you might have actually picked that one just because of the surrounding circumstances. But
I'm not bringing them up. They're for another podcast.
So, last question I've got for you is: have you ever been starstruck on a football pitch, and by who?
My shadow. I played in a charity match in Owen Coyle.
Owen Coyle was
that's a good one.
What age would you be when you played that?
This was last year. He was brilliant, mate. He's
really, aye.
He could still play League One and League Two.
Get him down
he
for
was so good. So he said,
the podcast.
I've got Owen Coyle's number on my phone.
Oh, there you go.
He said he would come on the podcast, but I've actually forgot to text him, so I need to. He was just the way he just checked his ball to take the ball, checked his body to take the ball down, and that was cool.
Special
No, actually, I was starstruck. This is actually a story. So I played in a charity match when I was with Greenock Juniors. Playing semi-pro at the time, and we played a charity match at Falkirk, and Stephen Presley was the manager, and my keeper was a legend. So what happened is my girlfriend Naomi sitting in the stand, right, and then there's a blonde woman in the stand. So my ex-girlfriend used to talk to everyone, so they've made friends, right, and it became really pally during the 90 minutes. So we go in for food after it, and Naomi, my ex-girlfriend, brings this friend over, right? So I'm sitting down at the table with him. Oh, she's told me all about you and all that. You done really, really well there. Who comes to sit down? Whose wife was it? Andy Gorham's.
No way.
I swear on my brother's grave. And
That's
God rest his soul. What a legend. And he was really friendly to me, and we had such a great time. We were supposed to meet up again. Well, they two, he probably didn't want to meet me again, but he was like looking at my photos with Greenock and all that stuff, and just saying all this nice stuff and telling me what to do to improve on and stuff like that. And it was sublime, because
that's a great story.
I loved him, and he was great. I missed him one time. He came to my hometown, and he went to a place that, I think it was sponsored by, I don't know, it was a place called McClure's in my hometown, and it had the big Tennent's Lager thing. So he was down when Rangers were sponsored by Tennent's Lager, when they had the yellow top, I think it was, and I missed him at a signing, and my Uncle Stuart went and got the autograph for me, and I was like, oh no, I missed him, blah blah blah. I think I was maybe away playing football, and then I was sat at a table eating, I can remember it, chicken with a haggis inside. I'm sitting at a table eating chicken and haggis inside, looking across the table, talking to Andy Gorham. Like that.
What's going on?
And then, so I done the dishes for the missus all week after that.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit gutted. I was kind of hoping that you were gonna say me for that, but I think Andy Goram's
Andy Goram's good.
If you're gonna lose to Andy, it might as well be Andy Goram.
Might as well be Andy.
Might as well be Andy.
So back into the football, Japan, Croatia. We shouted a lot about Croatia. Sorry, Japan, and I think they certainly never disappointed. I thought they were brilliant in the game.
No, I thought they were good.
What was your thoughts?
I'm disappointed for them, first of all, because obviously I was supporting them this World Cup, but I think the penalties were just poor, man. Like
That's been a theme.
And don't get me wrong, Livkovic was just unreal.
So what happened with the penalties? I had to go to work, so I didn't get to see the penalties.
Livkovic saved 3.
Oh my
The
goodness.
Croatian keeper saved 3 of them, and the two were really good saves, but the penalties weren't the best. You know, the ones are just the right height for them and stuff like
no
that.
power
But
at all, man. No
nah,
conviction.
and I think I thought maybe if it went to penalties, Japan, especially when Modric was off, Perisic was off for Croatia, they'd subbed them off, and I was like, right, surely this is. But it wasn't to be. But
Surprised they subbed Modric off. Take a penalty taken away.
Just
I know,
older, didn't
just
you?
old. I think so. But you think they would have just said to him, just stand back and make sure you're ready to go.
Just stand in the halfway line and control the game. Modric,
that's what you tell me.
Just don't move. Just don't move.
Don't move, Colin. Don't kick him. That's pretty much what he's
That's you're trying to be with a Barnett.
He said to me one time, right, he played a fantastic ball up the wing, man, and he was shouting at me to go and get the ball. He's like, you need to run for that ball. I'm like, mate, vicinity. I'm 32 now. If it doesn't go through this vicinity, I can't get it.
What's your take on Japan, Croatia?
I thought yous were praising Japan, and rightly so. I think they gave a really good account of themselves.
We Dyson.
Yeah, I love you, Dave.
I just feel.
I'm not going to lie, mate. I'm going to interrupt you because I keep rubbing my eye.
Yeah,
Keep going.
No, fair play. But aye.
So unnecessary.
He's a dickhead, you.
No, it's fair play. I do apologise. But no, I feel Croatia just. I think they know how to manage the game, and like you says, when it comes into penalties, like you says, it is luck. But I just thought the penalties were coaching as well.
No, they were really bad.
They were stinking.
Sorry, Japan, but no penalties, man.
I like how he played the diplomatic card the whole way. Like, it was alright, it was this and that. But the penalties were coaching, but
I thought Japan didn't seem as if they had much confidence the first couple of games, and they kind of came on a wee bit. I thought Croatia were poor the start of the tournament. They were a wee bit slow and weren't utilising Modric as much, and I didn't think they would get this far, to be honest. But they've done that a few times when they got to the final last World Cup. I didn't think they were good then either.
Well, I actually said at the start that we get to that. I don't know if you remember that.
They got to with regards to the last World Cup. Every single round after the group stages was through penalties. So it's a theme with them.
Hey, look at Chelsea when they won the Champions League. They were awful. But they went. You're not awful winning a Champions League, but it wasn't done in the best way.
Fashion in football, everybody says it. I feel like
Perisic again, but just I've no stopped speaking about the guy. The guy is
the header was different quality.
The guy's unreal. Like if he's no scoring, he's assisting, and if he's no doing any of that, he's defensively just immense. Like I think he's unreal.
What about yourself?
Like watching it again. I find Croatia unremarkable to watch. See, considering some of the players they've got, I think Modric can dictate a game on his own, but I feel like he's been asked to do different things and cover other players in it. And I think, see if your fullbacks are Barisic and Juranovic at a World Cup, I think you might find that difficult, particularly when it comes into the business rounds. Like
If they were to come up against England, I think they would struggle.
I think Brazil next, isn't it?
Brazil after
Stud.
the next result. So
Think so? Think so?
it's a right tough one. It's a right tough one. And to be honest, mate, do I see Croatia doing it? Probably not. But I wouldn't write them off because of the players I've got. But I think we'll move on to Brazil in a second. But when you look at the players that Brazil have got, Neymar was just back after being out for like 2 weeks.
They've not even put their seatbelts on yet.
Aye,
They'll start
that's
the car,
exactly
aren't they not?
But we're obviously, if we're going on to Brazil,
Move on to Brazil.
we're going on to Brazil. I said at the start of this on the first one, you were saying that he should have took Firmino. I think Richarlison. I think everybody can say he was the right choice.
I think definitely probably the right choice. But see, if I was to tell you that Gabriel Jesus and Bobby Firmino had 10 goal contributions each this season, you would probably guess the wrong player for who's done what. Firmino scored 7 goals and got 3 assists, and Jesus has got 5 and 5. So it really depends what you're looking for a striker.
I think it's just a style of player. I think
Should have took them both.
I
Both from in our position.
I think they've got so many good ball players, right? I mean, even their centre mids are ball players in a way, do you know what I mean? So, like, your Elisa Paqueta play anyway once.
I thought you said bald, sorry.
No,
My ears are
ball
not.
players.
My ears are
Like,
not.
Paqueta can play anyway once.
Different quality.
He was
in the
unreal.
first
He
half,
could play
just-
anyway once, so having him in the middle of the park, it just kind of opens you up to be an attacking team right for the start. And I think if you've got players like Neymar and you've got Rafinha and that, you don't need a Bobby Firmino. For me, I think having somebody different that's a wee bit more powerful, he gives you that different thing where you can put the ball in the box. You can just put the ball in the box. You can let your wide players do what they need to and just put the ball in the box. Richarlison's a penalty striker. That's something that Firmino's not ever really been.
I think they might miss him if they need to manage games. See, like if they get to 70 minutes against France or whatever, or they're in the final, get his 70 minutes in and they need to. I think Firmino's a player you could bring on,
Spark.
and he could win the game and he could spark it. I don't know if they've got many other players that could come on and take it by the take the game by the horns like that. I think Firmino's done it. That's because he's done it and he's proven. That's the safe. I think as well the managers love to make they love to make statements like that's a huge that rocked Brazil.
Yeah.
You know, but it also puts his name up, and there's a lot of things done in football for these kind of reasons. It also puts him right up there. If they go and win now, he's a hero. That guy's a hero. Although Firmino's in the, you know, he's like, he's almost forgotten about. The manager goes and wins this World Cup. He's a hero, and it was the right position. And Richarlison's the best
Especially
player
with
ever.
Richarlison scoring goals now.
And if he doesn't, it's going to be questioned.
That's what we spoke about earlier on. But there is no pleasing everybody.
No.
It's you need to judge it based on the results, and I think he's definitely getting them with Richarlison playing up front. It's not just his goals; it's his contributions to the team. I know I was probably one of the biggest advocates for taking Bobby Firmino, and I still think he should have went in some capacity if it meant dropping someone from another position. But I do like a big, powerful number 9 as well.
I
So
love
just
it, man.
throwing yourself.
I love a
about.
Kenny McKay, sorry.
Kenny McKay.
He should get back in first.
mate, he played in the 6. He played in the 6.
Did you?
CDM
Did you?
just chilled it.
That was just to mark me out the game.
I
up,
just
wasn't
try to get fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've literally just done it. So I knew if I'd let him play, I knew straight away. He must have seen me.
I think that's why he dropped me, because he was like, Jamie's going to tell me no. So there's no way I'm playing Conor.
I looked at it and I just looked at it, and then as soon as I seen him there, I thought, because you said you might not be playing, and you were in the squad, I thought, right, okay.
Just talk about the mind game.
I'm going in the 6, and you see me, you're like that. I hate it. So if I could condense the space, he wasn't getting on the ball. So he couldn't, because he was having to do like 2 other people's jobs. So it was a game of wits.
Tactical masterclass for Kenny.
That was.
Drop Conor, put myself in. That's it.
Morocco, Spain.
I'm
Shocker for some people.
majorly disappointed in Spain.
Did you watch that game today?
Aye. Majorly disappointed. I was sitting in work when the penalties started, and I'm watching it, and I turned it off. I was like, that's Spain through. I didn't even want to watch it. I was like, that's Spain through. Then it came out on my phone. They missed the first one, and they missed the second one, and I checked it, and I was like, what is happening here? What is going on? Spain missing penalties for me just doesn't compute in my head. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Did you see the criticism Sarabia got on Twitter as well for the shot he missed at the end? Last
I
game
don't
of
think
the
he could do it.
He
in
missed
much.
I
it.
agree.
He missed. No, Sarabia. What?
It's the
that
one
is-
where the ball came
Is
across.
he the one that missed like 5?
And
Who's
that's
the
for
Morocco
PSG.
striker that?
Oh,
And Nesri.
It might have been, but do you know who actually shocked me for Morocco? See the boy in the middle? Is it Chidira? Chidera?
Is that not the one up front?
No, he played in the middle.
Or was
He
it?
definitely played in the
Who's
middle.
the one that he missed a lot of
Big,
chances,
the tall boy.
but he looked so tired. Like, see, when he was through
Not
through
sure
like
his
3
name.
times 1-on-1,
Aye.
and he just didn't hit the ball.
See the one.
They're never going to get through the quarters unless he takes them chances.
See, talking about I know the chance you're talking about. Amrabat on the half turn
Yeah.
and slipped it through. Amrabat, mate, playing as a holding
so
midfielder.
good.
Oh my god,
Brilliant.
So good.
unbelievable.
It's a Tarap thing again. The Bum Tarap played in the.
Mate, it's just such a cheat code.
Tell
See
you
if you
what,
get someone who's
Hakimi,
technically
man.
good in there. Hakimi's so good as well, isn't he?
He's good.
See
What
that
a
full
player,
wee right hand side they've got. See when
You did say it was the best right hand side. In
I
the
did. I
World
say
Cup.
it's the best right.
I actually
right
really
side
like it.
to
I think it's
Aye.
brilliant.
Aye.
It's refreshing to watch.
Mhm.
Very attacking. They're tough. They've got a bit of steel about their play, and they never stop. But is it their right mid that's constantly getting by?
Ziyech.
Yeah, it's him
Aye.
constantly getting by.
Unbelievable.
Imagine having him playing next to you. Like, see you later, mate. On you go. See you later, mate. On you go. And it gives Hakimi so much space to just kind of do what he wants.
What about that penalty?
What one?
These penalty. Higgins.
Oh, the dink. Oh my.
Who's got the cojones? Because you know we're keeping it PG man now often. Who has got them to just go and dink that?
And then dances.
World Cup final.
Does he
I
dance?
never even celebrated.
Does he dance?
World Cup final, 94 minutes
I know.
in, right? Last 10 seconds, you get a penalty, you're on it.
Right.
Where are you putting it?
Oh, for my,
Mate, I'm
you,
not
you'll
putting
see.
anyone
You'll
else
see in the
hit it.
17th, right? But it's gone. It's gone. My
You
left.
have to take it. You've
Keep-
already said.
I always
Keeper's
go
keeper's
left.
right, and it's
I
side
always
net
go
every
left.
time.
I always go left, and I go high.
So
because
you're left, but
Keeper's
penalties.
right
Left.
side
Aye,
net every time,
I'm
'cause
going
it needs to
across.
curl there,
I'm going across.
and that gives the keeper more kind of.
Like,
He's
you're
no,
right foot.
he's no stop mine.
I do
would
the
agree
same,
with
but I don't open my body up. I go across my body.
Did you go across?
I go across my body. So you're saying the same as me. You're saying keeper's right.
I always
So
open
I
up.
So
go-
you're
I
right
go-
footed.
I go
So you go
across,
across your own body.
What about you?
I'm the same.
Always open up. I think like, see if I'm even playing passes anywhere in the park, I much prefer opening my body up because I feel like I can proper judge the weight of stuff. I think I'm much more accurate going that way, mate. See if I go the opposite way,
You play
I'm just
passes, open your
bathing it.
body up.
I know, mate. No, so I would definitely open my body up and just try and place it in that wee.
What would you look for? Here's a question. What would you look for? So if you were going to go for the dink, what would you look for just before you
So like a
went
tail
for
for the
dink?
keeper.
What would be your tell that you thought he's going to go to the side? This is an interesting one because I've done this in a mindset course.
Right, so
Well,
na-
from a
na-
keeper's point of view.
so
From
if-
your point of view, looking at the keeper,
Right.
what are you waiting for him to do that makes your mind up you're going to dink him?
I think no movement. See a keeper that doesn't move. See if they're just standing there staring, because then they're gonna move.
I don't know.
A
Some,
keeper that does all this, very rarely do they make a big mad dive, because they're trying to put you off. So a keeper that's just standing staring.
for me, half the battle of penalty is the battle of wits. So if a goalkeeper comes on, he's clapping his hands, he's looking me right in the face. I'm thinking, right, okay, I'm just going to go for what I know. I'm going to try and place it in the corner. See if someone comes on head down, and I'm like, you don't want it. I'm going to dink it.
You don't want this thing,
You
bro.
don't want this. Aye, that's what I'd go for. That's what I'd go for.
is coming.
I mean, I feel like you said before, I always know where I'm going in a penalty. So if I'm feeling confident in the game, even if if you're going to dink it, I'm just in my head and like, I'm going to dink it. I do not care what's going to happen here. If I dink it, I dink
make
it.
up
I think-
your mind if you're going to dink it.
I
You need to
think
know
you
your
can't-
way.
you
I
can't
think,
chip it, that's my
everybody here, I think he's more likely to go for a dink.
Aye, I think my bottle would go right as a goal. I would be like that too. See if we were in a penalty shoot, it'd be
I'm
not
going to
standing.
this,
I'm going to dink it. I'm going to dink it.
I
And
know.
then you put it both left.
I know McNee will not see this. I don't want no clips going to McNee, right?
He
My
watches
first
the
penalty.
podcast. He watches the podcast. I wouldn't think.
My first penalty is gone right down the middle, McNee, and I'm going to chip it, McNee.
Oh.
It's gone right barn in McNee. That's what that's gone.
McNee's a keeper.
Aye, so the charity event we've got, one of the events is we're going to take five shots each. We covered that in the halftime clip, and Andy McNee, a good friend, is going to be in goals. So Andy's actually a pretty good goalkeeper. You got the better of him on Sunday, but
Yeah,
Andy's a
yeah.
top quality goalie.
Aye, he was
So
good. I didn't even know anyone was in goals.
Oh. 9 games already. 9 games already.
Was it a goalkeeper in?
How have you seen it then? What goes through your mind if you've got to chip it?
You were right with the thing.
Really?
Yeah,
Just because I know ball.
Yeah, body language, but at the end of the day,
No guarantees.
There's no guarantees.
I don't.
And that's always
I
a
can't
man.
imagine you thinking
I'm a very
You're a Scottish striker.
You've seen me now. You know what I mean? Back in the day, it was a wee bit more. I would be a wee bit more inventive and silky, but now I'm just not fit and just do. I just do
You
what
just
I
smash
can.
40 yarders
I
and
can
hit
just
that
do
back.
what my body allows me to do the odd time, but the dink, it would need to be maybe a keeper who is waiting because he's going to make a big dive that is just standing still, or I don't know. I don't know if I would go and do a hyper one because then they might just stay in on their decking. But yeah, I think it's did the cojones come out? Did they 96, 94 minutes?
I think if you're a keeper, right, and I think this is how the dink works so much, I think if you're a keeper and a penalty shootout at the last minute of the game, you've got to dive. I think you've got to make an attempt to. Do you know what I mean? You've got to try and suss them out as a keeper, so you've got to try and make that decision. If you just stand in the middle and somebody puts it bottom left, they'll be like, what did they no move for?
I get what you're saying, but goalkeepers do that. If you saw the goalkeepers that pull out a water bottle that's got maybe, I don't know, Kenny right, Conor left, Ben right down the middle now. But I
And
don't
it's
know.
weird that because that still is just odds. That's playing with odds.
Aye.
You know, it's not guaranteed.
But I feel like you've played at a level. You've played so many. I personally don't know how many penalties you've took, even in training and that as well. But I feel like I think
14.
confidence is key. Like I think, just for my point of view, I don't think anybody should miss a penalty unless the keeper saves it.
It's difficult. I mean, if I was to put you in front of 3,000 people now, just 3,000,
3,000.
and not even 3,000, maybe 1,000.
He's more than his misses, that's what you need to put in front of him.
And a small, that's and I was to put you
His
in that
bottle would go.
scenario, it can be a lot different.
Do you know? To be fair, I did do it at Partick Thistle.
Oh, so that's
I
a
got
pretty good story.
I
Actually.
got howlers off it. Who were they playing?
We'll no mention, we'll no say names, right? But we played. Thistle were at home to this team, and we done a promotion through a commercial department, right? So when I worked there, the commercial department would put out a thing on a Friday saying everyone who responds to this tweet with like whatever emoji is in a draw for the halftime crossbar challenge. So someone would get picked at random, but because I worked there, I was like, listen, my mate's got a wee bit about me, fancy himself to come on and do it. Let's see how he does.
So you cheated it? Is that what you're saying?
I
You're
may
not
or-
meant to the people that
I
you
may or
cheated.
may not have cheated the system on that one day. But so Ben's came on at half time against who we're playing. Line up 3 balls, right? So line up the 3 balls on the edge of the 18. Clips the first one over the bar. The away
Feel
fans
for the ball. Feel for the ball.
Away fans are giving a wee bit, man. And I'm sitting, I'm like, oh no, his bottle's going to go. His bottle's going to go.
No, this time I'm walking back to the second one. I've turned to the boys and I've went, second one here, second one. And the rest was history, man.
Scudded it, mate.
Aye.
Clean as you like. Aye, right off the bar, bounced right
Good
back to
man.
him. Controlled it on the touch as well. Unbelievable. Genuinely, mate. It was like Ronaldinho stuff. It was genuinely incredible, man.
I'm telling you, the best touch I've ever seen. Honestly, I'm not
Brilliant.
joking.
Aye, top quality, man. Top quality. You got your
Training on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Come on, down.
Wednesday.
Get yourself down, mate. Get
Come on,
involved.
down to flip.
Aye, get down here.
Get down, get involved. So Portugal, Switzerland.
Oh, Scud books.
Aye.
What did it finish? 6-1.
6-1.
6-1.
Ronaldo's.
What are we saying? Does Ronaldo get back in the team after Ramos scoring the hat trick?
I don't think now because
No,
you've
definitely
got to
no,
give him
no.
a wee chance. Ronaldo's a difficult one because I've been watching it a lot, and phenomenal player, but he needs to be played too. So like Messi is now. Messi wasn't in his first season at PSG. All the individuals were trying to do their own work, but then the second year they thought, wait a minute, if we actually play to Messi and let him dictate,
Aye.
he's going to set us up for hundreds of goals, and that's what he does. If Ronaldo in Manchester United wasn't played to, he's an old striker now. You've got to treat him like Ibrahimovic. You've got to just get the balls into areas that he's able enough to go and attack and
But
get himself goals. That's the
How do you
ideas.
feel? How do you feel with the thing that's like? It's a thing that I always say, especially with Ronaldo. I think he is obviously one of the greatest players of all time, mate. I'm never denying that, and I'm obviously a massive fan of him. But do you not think it's weird that every team he goes to, everybody else seems to get worse? Do you know what I mean? Like Bruno Fernandes was the man at Man United, then Ronaldo goes and Bruno Fernandes doesn't shine. Ozil done the same as soon as he moved away from Real Madrid. They realised how big he was, how good he was. Benzema then goes and wins a Ballon d'Or.
I don't know
I
if
think that might just be Man United. Like
think so.
With what's happening there, with how the players were at the time, and then bringing Ronaldo in. There has been problems at Man United for years, but I think whenever a big player goes somewhere, you're not going to imagine Messi coming to your club. You would feel like the wee kind of guy in the cupboard. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even play here, it's all about him. You know, but you need to take that. That's when the people step up. I think Ronaldo needs to. What I think is he's still in a mindset block. I think he's still going to. You put a good chance in front of him, he'll miss it. Now that's not, and I think people are getting confused. That's not because he's old. That's because he's in a mindset block, because he was banging them in for fun last year. And at the start of his Manchester United career, he was just pinging them in for fun. Give him something, he'll score. Give him something, he'll score. So he's obviously, nothing changes over 5 months. He's obviously.
So what do you think's went wrong there, especially?
I think his mind.
Especially with obviously the Ten Hag and that. Do you think it's just?
For me, I think it's just Manchester's problems, whereas they didn't have enough communication. And his 2-part interview tells it all.
Do you think Ten Hag would have signed Ronaldo if he had the choice?
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Dutch managers. I think they're too cocky, too arrogant, too want it their way. I'm not a fan of Gio Van Bronckhorst, same things. I know what that happened behind the scenes there. And
is that because you're winning the league?
And just from what I was hearing and stuff, it's just not. It's not. I'm just not a big fan of Dutch managers. Maybe the way they come about things, but. Saying that, they're phenomenal. Ten Hag's a phenomenal manager. I don't think he knew how to deal with Cristiano Ronaldo.
That's
the
what
guy
I was going
walks
to
in the
ask.
club and he's done more than you in a week than you've ever done in your career. Like that's hard to deal with that. How do you go and tell him? How do you tell Messi how to do this when he knows the game inside out with the back of his hand? How do you? And as a man, or a man, a woman, a person, how do you? If you've got any kind of insecurity and Messi and Ronaldo comes to your club, you're fucked.
Aye.
Because you're just going to be like,
that's a good point.
But you have to be still yourself. Bring them in. But I think you've got to use a player like Ronaldo to what he is. I think you need to get rid of his mindset block. Like, there's no doubt in my mind, if Ronaldo goes to another team and it suits him, no doubt in my mind he scores 20 goals a season. And that is at the top level of football. People we're too hard on players. Like, we're not talking about someone who plays for Bournemouth now who scored 14 goals, which is still top level. Premier League's the best league in the world.
Definitely.
So why are we slaughtering him so much? We're not talking about players who play for Leicester, like Jamie Vardy, who's been fucking
dropped out,
barking. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not talking about that. This is him doing it. Like, people go, he's shite now, this and that. He's at the top level, like he is the main man. Like, this is like he's doing things that I think if we got behind him, imagine we pushed him to play till he was 42, 43. That changes football.
No, it does.
Because that means that men don't, not men, in the men's game, it means that players don't just go and hide when they're 34. Oh, I've had my career. Because do you know why they go and hide? Because they can't deal with the insecurities of getting
and they
people
can't,
getting better than them.
They can't accept the fact that they can't do the things they used to be able to
That's
do.
it. And that's like me the now, playing the now. And I'm thinking...
No, I've seen you getting frustrated when you lost the ball and stuff like that.
You have to put the ego away and just think, wait a minute, I'm older now, I've not played in 6 years, I'm not going to be that player.
Can you imagine you at 25, 26 getting told you played CDM on Sunday?
Oh, wow.
Do you know what I mean? Then imagine saying to his lap, I'm just going to sit in CDM.
See, to be fair, I would love it, to be fair, in our league, with the standard, but I just think that people need to realise that I think it's easy to hate on Ronaldo. He's done stuff that we could have kids for the next 100 years and we won't have kids that will do anything like what he's achieved. They won't even achieve 10% of what he's achieved, so I don't think we've really... I just think it's wrong criticising. But I remember when the scandal came out about Messi and the debt, Messi received the same amount of hate. He was getting hated. And I just think we've got no right to do that to two of our best. But we've done it to everyone.
Going on for what you're saying as well, I think we were talking about this a wee while ago. And it's like, I think people are talking about the next Ronaldo and Messi all the time. You seem to see it all the time, the next Messi, the next Ronaldo. People are talking about how Haaland and Mbappe... Listen, Haaland and Mbappe I think they'll go and score more goals than Messi and Ronaldo, right, in their careers. I think if anybody's going to do it, I think it's got to be them. They score so much goals, right? But there was more to Messi and Ronaldo's game for so long before the goal scoring happened. Like, Messi is a playmaker, and I think the best playmaker that's ever played the game.
I agree.
Like, so there's more to his game. The best athlete of all time in football is Cristiano Ronaldo. There'll be nobody that matches that amount of athleticism. Like, that's it. So I think there might be players that go and outscore them and stuff like that. But the ability to play football, I don't think it'll ever be matched.
My last question just before we move on, we've obviously still got the predictions to go over as well, but what we're talking about obviously with Ronaldo in terms of being in that mindset block, he's made it clear that he wants to play, regardless of having this mindset block, he wants to play. How does anyone as a manager say, right, okay, I don't want to play you now, I just want you to get yourself right and then come back, because he's not happy with that, he wants to play every week.
I think that's when managers make their money.
Yeah.
I think that's when you say, no, listen, I understand you're one of the best players I've been, but I am the manager and I want to do this. And I think this is right. And evidently
that's what
this
Ten
was
Hag
right.
tried.
There's a here and now and think, well, we think Ten Hag done that. I mean, I'm used to knowing that at pro level what's in the papers that isn't what's happening in the club.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's
Like,
fair.
I've had reports put about myself and other players that the club was doing one thing or stuff was happening in the club one thing, and then the papers were writing another. So we don't know what's going on in that club. What we do know is Ronaldo will train as hard as he can and he'll give his all, but he cannot be annoyed if he's not getting. He can be annoyed at himself. He cannot be annoyed at his manager if he's not getting played.
True.
Because he needs to get. But then if you leave him out, you've got to maybe got to give him some minutes, because you want him to get rid of the mindset. Well, don't just leave him and then he sinks more into it and then he goes, oh fuck it, I'm retiring.
I think he didn't want to come off the bench either, wasn't it? I think that's a thing from him as well. He didn't want to be on the bench at all.
Or it might have been just how it could have been just how the personal relationship with Ten Hag was. Could have been the personal relationship, and he might Ten Hag just might not have wanted to speak to him. He would have done it his way, whatever Ten Hag's way was. He might not even have called him into the meeting. He might have felt like he was owed more than that. I think you've got to learn the player and know the player. But Ten Hag should have made them phone calls to Real Madrid to see, like, what are we dealing with here? How much
Much a diva, is he?
Well, how much are we, like, how much, like, he's like a running engine of a club. It's like bringing a club into a club almost. You bring him in, like, as you says, people don't speak about other players anymore. They compare them to Messi and Ronaldo. Like, it's not just, how good's Haaland? It's like, could Haaland be the next Ronaldo? It's everything is Messi and Ronaldo now. And you've got to remember as well, the press put a lot of stuff in our heads. Like, I don't know how much money the press have made off Cristiano Ronaldo, but every second thing on my phone or Facebook is all about Cristiano
You click
Ronaldo.
it, didn't you? You do every time, every single time.
I just
you
got
click
to read people's comments about him. And I'm thinking, and then something will come up about Messi, and then another thing will come up. And they'll use bait headlines just to each other all the time. I don't read anything about Mbappe except for what Sky Sports print.
True.
It's mad. Like,
that's a
so
good point.
it's like we get a lot. So it's almost like I always don't know what to feel or think, because we're just we're
just caught in the
digesting
system,
all
innit?
of this shit, aren't we? Like,
I think the title for this video is Cristiano Ronaldo on the next podcast. To get a few clips
So
in.
that
we'll just say that he's got it. We'll say, listen, we've got a lot of followers that want to see your story, Cristiano. Let's just go and fucking slag Portugal.
So the teams that have progressed are obviously Netherlands, Argentina, Croatia, Brazil, England, France, Morocco, Portugal. But we'll go through each game at a time, how we see it unfolding and what we think the outcome will be of each game. Start with you. You've been quiet for the last 5 minutes. He doesn't speak unless it's the big 3 points, innit?
That's what he does.
Some weight to that, innit?
The real World Cup feels good. I wanted to do that all
Netherlands, Argentina.
I'll take a wee picture of you and stuff.
Netherlands, Argentina. Argentina.
Why?
Argentina.
What you say?
Netherlands will beat them.
Do you think Holland?
I think Holland will beat them. Argentina have not even been tested yet, and they've nearly crumbled. And I think Holland have just, as you said, I think they've just started to clock with each other and had their wee yacht party. And I think if they rule Messi out the game, I don't see the rest of them doing it.
Fair enough. You saying?
I think I'm blinded by the fact I want Messi to win it. I think I'm just blinded by it, so I can't see by Argentina. Don't get me wrong, I think, like you say, I think it's obviously their biggest test coming up. But I can't see Messi getting bowed out his last big tournament. I can't see it. And for some reason, just
my
something
thing
in my
is,
head.
I don't think it's going to be up to him. Do you know what I mean?
You think
That's my thing.
the Dutch are going to take it with each hands?
But that's what I would do if I was a manager. I'd be like, we need to stop him playing, because the rest of them are.
Would you see if you were a manager, say for example, obviously it's not going to happen, right? Well, you might go into professional management. You're coming up against Messi. How would you deal with that? If you're the Dutch manager, do you put somebody on him? Do you put 2 men on him? Do you put 3 men on him? But how do you stop that, or do you let him do you let him take the ball like Saudi Arabia done and then put the pressure on?
I think he just puts himself in the sixth. Like he gives Messi match treatment.
Takes his suit off, puts on his Dutch top.
I think you have to rely on your players.
Mm-hmm.
You set up in the way you want to go and play, in the way you see the game, and then you need to rely on your players.
Do you make a
to
plan against them?
I think
Or
you go
do
with
you...
what you've already. I mean, for me, I would think that when the draw was out, the managers already mapped this game out and thought about it for hours. Probably
Aye.
spent maybe 10 hours thinking about this game. And probably another 10 hours thinking about the next game. So he'll have his plan in what way he wants to play, and he's probably, the coaching team's probably matched up all their players and scenarios, and if they start this formation, we counter them with this formation. I think you have to stop Messi playing. I think you have to get on him as soon as he gets involved, but then if you do that and put too much pressure on him, he gets a free kick, puts it right in the top bin. I think it'll be harder playing again because he's got Van Dijk to get past as well. I think you stop him playing. I don't think Diarra and that are playing well enough to cause problems. I just think that if you can stop Messi, and then who can stop Messi?
No.
I think you've got an easier chance stopping him now
than what you did years ago.
I just think Holland will beat them. I really do, actually, because I think Argentina are very poor at the back and are very susceptible to counter attack. So I think,
and that is how the Dutch
Holland
play. The Dutch play.
I think Depay and Dumfries.
Dumfries is so good. We didn't even speak about Dumfries, but wow.
You wanted to play Jerry Frimpong at right back ahead of this boy.
No, I wanted to play Dumfries up higher.
Then you're dropping Gakpo.
And I would have played Gakpo on the left and just dropped Bergwijn, but obviously
Depay as well.
Depay I would have just played for the centre.
I think they've got an unbelievably underrated squad.
They do.
Holland, and for that reason, I'm going to tip them to beat Argentina
You
as
go
well.
Holland.
Aye, I'm going to go Holland, but it's not just individual players, and I'll be more specific. Right, I'll give you a clip. I reckon Holland and Argentina will finish 1 each, and then extra time will finish 2-1 Holland.
So is this a if it doesn't happen?
No, because
That's a hard. He's
aye,
saying the scoreline.
That's a bet 365 builder bet. That's what that is. But that's what I fancy. I think Messi will have his say in the game. I think at that level he always does. More often than not he does. So I think he'll have his say in the game. I think he'll score. But Holland, I think press better, they defend better. I think they're better at playing
They're
through
more
the
solid
as well.
unit, aren't they?
I think they're better at playing.
Too much.
I agree.
I think that Messi won't score. I think if it goes his way, if he gets a chance and he takes it, obviously he's going to score. But I think they're going to beat them. I think 2-3-0.
Do you think it's weird that there's a player that good in the world where they come into a game and you actually have to say to yourself, no, he might actually no score? Like, because I can't get it from my head that Messi might actually no score. Messi might no score.
The other thing is, like, they've done nothing. Argentina in the last fucking 20 years, man.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's
So,
well,
like, I
literally
think
apart from the Copa America.
I think we all forget that just because Messi plays for them.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
What
they went
about-
on an unbeaten run, but
Mhm.
they were still.
You don't get well. Obviously, they won the
Copa
Copa
America.
America, and that was fair enough. But if you look at the teams that are playing in that, they could have maybe won
Do
one or
you
two
think-
before.
They
do
should
you
be
think-
winning the Copa America every bloody time.
Do
Well,
you think
between them and Brazil.
Do you think if Portugal and Argentina don't win it this year, that it's crazy that we've seen the two best players that have ever played football, arguably, and they've never won a World Cup?
I don't think so. I think
Nah.
the game now is more emphasised on teams and systems. I think back in the day, Maradona, teams when they maybe set up
That
the same as what they're
Argentina
now.
team is very good at Maradona. Was in there.
I get that, but I think teams then when they set up in the same kind of systems and structures you've got now, I think you're looking at. We spoke about this in the podcast last week. You've got kids at 10-year-old getting coach shape, which I don't know if I actually agree with that. Is a general.
Well, they just took
is a
Heaton out the
general
game,
idea.
which I don't.
As a general concept, I don't think I agree with that, but that's why all these teams are so structured and so difficult to break down. So, I get that. But let's move on to Croatia, Brazil. What are you saying to that?
Brazil scud books.
Brazil are scud books.
No, Brazil are scud booking Croatia.
All right, okay. Any reason why, or are you just?
I just think they're unstoppable at the moment. However, I do feel Croatia will give them a tough game. I think the floodgates will open second half.
Croatia being poor, Brazil being Brazil. I think it could be a demolition job for Brazil. I don't see, unless Croatia make that game horrible. See if Croatia make the game just, one of them horrible games that you don't want to watch and the ball's up in the air, and that's their chance of winning. If not, they're going to get battered.
1-9-1 formation.
What are you saying? You're going to say Croatia, aren't you?
Croatia, I think Croatia.
Based on what?
I think.
I can never tell if you say things just to get.
No,
Did he
no.
swap my seat?
Sometimes I think he does.
I think Brazil are the. I think Brazil are the best team in the tournament by far.
But they're going to
How are
lose.
they not winning then?
They're going to lose to one of the worst teams.
I think if they don't come up against Croatia, they would have won the World Cup. But they have, and I think Croatia will go through. I think Luka Modric's going to have the game just tied up. Honestly, I think he's played with Casemiro, knows what Casemiro does. I think he'll just tie him up knots. Honestly, I don't think he'll get near him. Plus, I think Ivan Perisic on the wing will just absolutely annihilate any winger he's up against. So I don't see Rafinha and Neymar getting the space that they've got so far, especially somebody with so much knowledge like Modric. Modric will, like, we know what Modric's like.
But look at the fullbacks they're up against. You're up against Josip Juranovic, who's used to defending against guys that are at that level.
100%.
There's like 6 or 7 Brazilian forwards. That's the thing. They put so much of their team up the park. I just don't know if Croatia.
I think if Paqueta has a good game, I think Brazil win. I think if Modric has a good game, Croatia wins.
We've got a left back who ran away for a boy in a mask. Just no. It's just not about it, mate.
I'm going to go Brazil as well, but I'm just conscious of time, so
Shake back.
I'm just conscious of time, so I'll move us on.
For the national team, man.
England, France.
England, France, England.
Oh,
Score. Put a score on it.
Put a score in it.
no, you've asked him to say more than 3 words. He doesn't have a clue what to do now.
2-0.
Were you saying it?
2-0.
2-0 England.
Oof. 4-1 France.
4-1 France.
So I was going to say 4-1
4-1
France.
I think France will beat them 2-1. I think Harry Kane's just coming out of goal scoring form. I can see Harry Kane getting a wee goal.
If England win.
Penalty. I can see a
France
penalty.
too good, mate.
If
France
England
too
win
good for me.
2-0, as you say, put a score on it. You give me a score if they win 2-0.
Right, okay, I tell you what, if my score comes up, I'll give
What is yours?
you give me 2-1 Brazil. Sorry, 2-1 France.
I
If
think
you
they could maybe hold the game for a while, but I think the floodgates will open second half because I think there's a lot of passion about the England side now, like a lot of Jordan Henderson. And he's a great player, but he's not like, you're not going to feed him.
I've always said he's vital to that England
Yeah,
team.
he's
I
vital
think
to
he is.
him, and if you can stop him from, if he's not getting the ball and not getting to cut up the play, I just don't see England. I don't know.
he allows the front players to go and express himself that wee bit more. I think
Him
if
and
you're-
Rice, aye.
if you're asking Bellingham to sit as a holding midfielder, you lose. Like, see the goal he created the other night, skint 3 players and then slipped. Was it Foden through who gave it straight to Kane? Unbelievable. That's what he's got, and that's for having that license to play the wee bit
Imagine
further.
England had Rooney up front instead of Kane now. They would win that World Cup.
Aye.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Kane's just not good enough for me now. He doesn't give enough. He's a different player now, isn't he?
He drops
Well,
in
would you
the-
Drops
play
in,
Rashford then?
Eh?
Would you play Rashford, who's on form?
But he's not Rooney. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are different gravy. Like,
Aye.
if England had just a better, if they had a real strong, if they had Harry Kane on form, Harry
chance
Kane
of
4 years ago, this World Cup is theirs.
But this England team right now, right? Are you starting Kane or are you playing somebody like Rashford? That gives you a bit more
I
against.
think you still start Kane.
I think he'd still start Kane to give you.
He's still
against these big
contributing
teams
with
because
assists and
No,
stuff.
he's still was that 3, is it 3 assists?
3 or 4.
Rashford phenomenal, but is he going to do it against like France and stuff?
I agree.
No, 'cause
I agree.
He's already done it against that PSG team and some
I
of
don't
the
think.
French
know,
ones.
but
I
How
don't
long
think.
ago?
Doesn't matter, 2-0 England, mate.
I don't think you get in behind this French defence. I don't think you can actually get in behind them.
That's not really Kane's game anyway. Though.
No, but it's Rashford's and Foden's
Aye.
and it's their
No,
game.
I agree.
And I don't think you get in behind them. So I think
I think this is England's biggest test.
If England win this, then part of Brazil in the final. If
The winner
somehow
of this,
Croatia beat Brazil, I think the winner of this could.
the
go on
winner
and
of
win
this has got a realistic chance of winning the thing because whoever plays this is going to play Argentina or Holland, and I think, Morocco or Portugal, and I think the winner of this gets to the final.
Yeah.
I think this is an early semi-final for me, but that takes us on to Morocco, Portugal.
I think I've wrote off Morocco every time apart from putting them through in the group. I didn't see them going past Spain. I thought Spain would have went convincingly won, but I'm going to say Portugal.
That's a dangerous game, this one, man.
I think it could be another penalty shot.
This could be a phenomenal game.
Mm.
I hope there's
This
goals.
might be game of the tournament.
Yeah, I hope there's goals. Morocco, I think, see if Morocco had that striker was better today and took his chances. That was 4-0, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea.
Oh, he can't sit in the
Aye,
fence.
he can't
He gives
sit.
an answer.
I want Portugal to win because I would love to see Ronaldo v Messi in the final.
That'd be the biggest game of football of all time.
Because
would
that
be the
would
biggest
just
game
be,
for
it would just be, just because, not because I want either of them to win it, because I don't care, it's not going to affect my life, but because I think for all you guys growing up, I grew up with Ronaldo and Zidane and all that stuff, for yous growing up to see them two in the fitting final, that's got to be one of the biggest things over the next 100 years.
Yeah.
See, just before you answer that, right? If he goes to the final, do you think there's pressure on Ronaldo starting just because Messi's going to play?
100%.
You would
You've
have to
got to
start
start him
Right.
because this is when you can maybe see him getting a wee bit angry and passionate, and you got to remember he does score. How many goals has he scored in a big game? He's a big game player, isn't he?
Big game
He
player.
he won the Euros for Portugal. Portugal were honking. He literally just dragged them through and goes, right, I'll batter you.
Then
I'll
we
score
are
you.
there.
I'll score you. I'll score you. You know what I mean?
We header. Sides
Oh,
hitting
they
the
go
big outside the box.
What are you saying? Portugal, Morocco?
Portugal. That's an easy one for me. I think I like you. I've doubted Morocco for the start, and I have been pleasantly surprised by them. I think Portugal's a step too far for them.
I'm going to say Morocco. I think Spain are a better team than Portugal. I think the day Morocco, like you say, could have won it 3-4-0. I think across the middle of the park, the midfield three they've got with Amrabat, the boy Chidira, they kept Pedri, Gavi and Busquets quiet. So that's arguably the best midfield three.
That is the
So
best
keeping
midfield
that,
number.
I'll
for
go
me,
over the
keeping that quiet.
fence and say maybe Morocco.
Back me on Morocco. So I'm going to say Morocco, and I think it'll be like I think they'll batter Portugal. That's my honest opinion.
Morocco go through,
They go to the final, do you think?
I think they might go to the
I
final.
think so. I knew you were going to say
I
that.
think they might go to the final just on passion.
I knew you were going to say
That's
that.
what Croatia did.
Do you
4
know
years
why
ago.
he thinks this? He thinks this, right, because he's putting himself in the Morocco striker's shoes, and he's like, I would have scored every single one.
I just think that he was so he's hard to keep tabs on, man, and you're right with the midfield with Spain the day. I mean, there was points where Spain had loads of the ball. Morocco weren't even letting them. They're so compact.
Aye.
Weren't even letting them pass. And then they were relying on the counter that wasn't coming. But then they came into it. So I think if they just have a bit more belief now, yeah. Maybe.
That wraps up the prediction trips. But before we go, we've got one big matter to discuss and 3 big points to give out.
Oh, here we go.
I think me and Kenny have been playing some warfare games here. I don't think they've got it. Watch him not even sitting. This player's like,
So what
Totally
I'll do,
forgot now, man.
I'll give you the first clue, the second clue, and then we'll finish on the third one, right? So your first big clue, remember it's a centre mid. Your first big clue, this player played with Mikel Arteta, John Hughes, and Ed Milson. The second big clue, this player represented Trinidad and Tobago at the 2006 World Cup. Your third big point, this player played for Hibs, Rangers, and Falkirk.
It's a player I thought. I just need to think about it. Yeah, I know he played in the Scottish Premiership.
I can see brains racking here, man. This is intense.
Do you know why I remember this? I'm pretty sure Ali McCoy was asked this on a Question of Sport.
Really?
I'm pretty sure, and I remember the Trinidad and Tobago thing being the one that got him the answer.
Oh my god, see, you've just said this. I know
I'm
exactly what you're talking about.
Positive.
Oh my god,
Positive.
I can't believe because
And
he
that's
didn't know
what-
it.
yeah,
He didn't
that's
know it.
what
Ah, my
came
god,
into
I
my-
remember this.
That's
Oh,
what
what's
came
his
into me
name?
straight away.
I cannot believe you just said that. See if I get this now. I'm gonna.
So I've got him in my head, the midfielder. I just can't. Oh no, I think I've got him.
Is it Kamara?
It's not Kamara.
No, it's not Kamara. It wasn't Kamara. Oh, what's his
I don't mean
face?
Glenn, by the way.
What's his face?
The Celtic
man?
one? Is it Mo Kamara?
Aye.
You
didn't
got
know
it?
that clue?
no, you go.
What?
I'm not saying nothing. I'm just.
Well, I'm out
I've got
anyway.
it too.
so
I've got it.
I'm out, so I don't mind.
No pressure, boys, but I've got a steak pie waiting, so any time of day.
Is it Malky's by any chance?
It's a Malky steak pie, mate.
Does
Lovely.
it start with Z?
No.
Since he's a guest, you can tell him.
No
what
Z
it
in the
starts
first
with.
name.
I tell you what, I'll give you the initials for him. His initials are RL. Falkirk legend. I'm surprised
I
thought you might
remember.
have got
Aye, it's I do remember it. Do you know what? I haven't played in a charity match with him.
Here we go.
I'm telling you.
Let's see if he's watching.
I'm sure he was at the charity match.
What's his name?
The fuck's his name?
Nah, boys, I've not put myself to be a fool
It's,
here. I'm not gonna lie.
Is it Remy?
No.
No,
You're it, mate.
no. It's a. His second name is. Is his second name LAM start? No.
No, LA is right.
Aye.
Ricardo Lau.
That's funny. Aye, it is. It's LAM.
I actually went to see Scotland play Trinidad and Tobago.
Did you?
I think it was at Easter Road.
Did he play?
Since he's the guest, are you happy enough for me to give him the first name?
Aye.
Fucking raging.
Give him
I'm
the
really
first name.
annoyed.
No,
Russell.
Gail.
Oh,
Russell.
aye.
That's Big Russ, man.
Nah, Big Russ.
You played against him
I didn't,
since
he
CDM.
wasn't in the friendly. No, he wasn't there. Russell.
You haven't painted yourself with glory this week, lads.
Fuck it, I'm gone. I was thinking of the wrong guy.
Russell Latipi.
Oh, no,
Aye,
I
so
couldn't think of that name for my life.
Russell Latipi. Next episode we'll cover another 2 central midfielders.
Russell? Who called him? When did he get the name Russell?
Russell Latipi. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed
Cheers,
the
guys.
episode, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and definitely share it with a friend.